Hey guys, I am trying so hard to like get this camera on my tripod for you guys. So I wanted to, all right, give me 1 second. We're gonna do this. There we go. Now we're good. Probably, yep, we're good. Okay. So I I wanted to do an Instagram live, and I actually was on Instagram yesterday. If you guys aren't following me, definitely go check me out. I was on Instagram yesterday and I told you guys, hey, send me some questions that you want me to answer because I get really inundated with a lot of questions. And I thought this would be a great opportunity for me to do some lives, start to get to know you guys and answer some of your questions because I really get very, very similar questions. So what I thought would be a great idea is I compiled a list of some questions that people sent me, and I want to kind of make a live video and answer them for you. So we are going to get right into this and dive into it. So one of the first questions that I got was, when is it the right time to start dating after a breakup? And I really, really love this question because there are a lot of things that you have to do in breakup recovery in order to get to a great place, a healthy place where you can attract a great partner. So we obviously don't want to be making the same mistakes over and over again, making the same mistakes twice. So one of the first things is, and I have some notes over here, so if I'm looking around, that's just me checking my notes. But one of the things is you have to be fully healed. So this is really, really important. So that means that you've let go of the anger, you've let go of resentment, the sadness isn't there anymore. You have just fully healed. You've worked on yourself. You're in a good spot. You're loving life. You're I don't want to even say who you used to be. You're becoming even a better, healthier version of yourself. So that's really, really key. The next thing is you have to know what you want. So I talk about this a lot. Good morning. I talk about this a lot with my clients when they are ready to start dating. Is you have to know what you want in a relationship. You have to be really honest with yourself and say, okay, what do I need in a partner? So a lot of us will just start dating and we're still insecure, we still come from lack, we still have those wounds, and we're just taking whatever comes along. I think being really, really clear on who is the person that is right for you. And I know that that's something that I struggled with for a while, was being honest with myself on what it is that I needed in a partner. So when I looked back on my past relationships, I realized, wow, the things that were really important to me, like respect and communication, it wasn't there in those relationships. And it wasn't there even in the beginning, but I overlooked it and I didn't want to, I didn't want to face the red flags. I didn't want to accept that this person wasn't right for me because I didn't want to be alone. And that's what most people experience, that fear of being alone. And so they stay stuck in these relationships. So knowing what you want, working on yourself to know that what you want exists, that what you want, that you deserve what you want. And so really healing and working on yourself, that's really, really important. And being okay with being alone. This is something that's huge. So you have to be okay with, okay, it's Tuesday and I'm by myself. Of course you're gonna feel lonely. Of course you're gonna go through like a tough night or, a moment of saying, I have nothing going on and this kind of stinks, but knowing that this is temporary. And that was something that really, really helped me, was even in the midst of being single, when I said, I have no dates, and all my friends are out doing things and I'm home alone on a Tuesday night. What I always kept telling myself was, this is temporary. So this is my time to be selfish. And I think that that's really something that you have to remind yourself throughout the process of being single, is this is temporary. This is not going to be something that's going to be forever. So enjoy the time being alone where you don't have to compromise with anyone. You don't have to say, hey, well, what do you want to do tonight? And that's not what you want to do. You can go to bed whenever and you don't have to be quiet because your partner's sleeping right near you. So this is your selfish time. So enjoy it. And make plans with friends and go out and put yourself out there. Like really challenge yourself to be a better version of yourself, to grow. So that's really important. So is there a right time? I think the right time to start dating after a breakup is when you love your life. When you're at a place where you just love your life right now, and that, yes, you want a relationship, but it's not something that you need and you're not so hungry for it. that you go out to a restaurant with friends and you're not looking around. And, we always have that one friend. I had this one friend when I was younger, and the minute we went out, it was like she clocked in for work and she was on the manhunt. And that's being desperate. That's coming from lack. It doesn't mean that we're not observing what's going on around us, but that we're content with where we are and we're enjoying the people that we're with. So that's always the most attractive thing in anyone, is when they don't come from lack, when they have confidence, when they love their life, and that's how you want to be. And knowing that, again, this is temporary is really, really huge. And repeating that to yourself over and over again. And it is the truth. So it's not something that you're just saying to yourself. It's not wishful thinking. It's not being positive. It's just the truth. You're not going to be alone forever. So enjoy this time to yourself and work on yourself. So the next question that I got was, leaving the narcissist. You should leave, but you feel like, am I making the right decision? So this is really, really common, and this actually sounds more like trauma bonding, perhaps. So I would definitely look into that if you haven't already. Definitely research trauma bonding so you have a better understanding of what that means. But people do this often in relationships, whether it's someone that you've been with that's narcissistic or any relationship, is when it gets towards the end, we tend to doubt the decision that we have to make. Even though we know that this person may not be right for us, we tend to doubt actually ending the relationship. And why people do that is one word: fear. Fear of the unknown, fear of what's going to happen next, fear that maybe what they want doesn't exist. So that fear will keep you stuck in any relationship. So this isn't really about just leaving a narcissist, and we've probably all experienced that when we know someone's not right for us, but this fear of being single and how long is it going to take to meet a new person and starting all over, like all of those fears will keep us kind of stuck. So that's definitely why you tend to doubt whether or not you're making the right decision. But really, if this is a narcissistically abusive relationship, look up trauma bonding, because that's a huge part of it. And the codependency and the lack of confidence in yourself, the fear of being alone, the fear of being single, all of these things are going to prohibit you from ending a relationship. So that's definitely something right there. The next question is how do you co-parent with a narcissist? You can't. You cannot. So that's kind of the short answer, but there is no co-parenting, because co-parenting would mean that while, you're divorced and you're living in separate houses, and some things, yes, of course, are going to change, for the most part, you can come together, you can compromise, you both make the sacrifices to put your child first. To put your child first and do what's best for the child. There is a level of respect that's still there between the two of you, and you know how to work together. This isn't the case with a narcissist, because a narcissist is completely selfish, self-absorbed, manipulative. It is all about them. They're not going to do what's fair for you and respect your time. They're also not going to do what's best for their own child. So because of this, and because you are a good parent, it's going to be very, very difficult to work together with someone that is so unreasonable and just extremely difficult. So there's only so much you can do, since you can't change this person. But there are a few things that I always say, and I think I've done a video on this as well, so definitely go check that out as well. But you have to limit your interaction with this person. So we're not having a lot of conversations with this person. At drop off and pick up, we're really, really brief. Here, Joe needs medicine at 8 o'clock. Susie had a bath. She has homework tonight. Those kind of things. We're not talking to each other like we're friends. We're not giving any information away. We are, if we're answering, I always say email is your best friend if you have to co-parent with a narcissist. So everything should be over email. I would even say limit texting as well, because you want to be able, you have to communicate with this person in some way, shape, or form. And by doing it over email, it allows you to, when you read something that's hurtful, when you read something that's abusive, it allows you to be by yourself and go through the feeling of, oh my God, this person just pissed me off, or oh my God, this person just said this, I can't believe they did that, and work through that, rather than you being face to face with someone and having to learn how to constantly respond versus react. And it's really, really hard. When I make videos about responding versus reacting, I do it because it's a practice. It's something that you're going to do for the rest of your life. It'll get easier the more you do it, but the fact of the matter is, you're always going to have to learn how to slow it down to respond to someone that's so abusive. And this person knows you better than anyone. They know where your wounds are. They know what are the things, where are your triggers, and they're going to use all of that and cut you at your knees to get to you because they need supply. They need, you're no longer good narcissistic supply, but you're great negative supply, and that's just as good. It's just attention. It's just like a child that's begging for attention. And the more you give into that narcissist, the more you're feeding that ego. So what you want to do is starve that ego. You want to know. Oh, I'll get to that in a second. So you want to just basically, like I said, limit the contact. I wouldn't even text, to be honest with you, unless you're going to start screenshotting all of your texts with this person, but just resort straight to email. It's the best thing that you can do, and document everything, receipts, your conversations with this person. And when you do get emails that are completely abusive, and they're cutting you at your knees, the only thing you're doing is skimming that email and responding to the questions that they're asking, and just be very, very brief. This is now a business working relationship. There's no emotion involved. The other thing is you have to set boundaries. And you have to learn how to enforce them. So setting boundaries with a narcissist is pretty much ridiculous because they're not going to respect them. But that's why learning how to really enforce boundaries is so, so important. And I'll go over this more in other videos. And I think I actually have made a brief video on boundaries. But really where people struggle is enforcing them. It's not really setting it. It's what do I do when someone tiptoes on the line of, not respecting the boundary that I'm setting? Then what do I do? And people get stuck in that place. So especially with a narcissist, you have to enforce the boundaries. You have to stick to the schedule, the parenting schedule that you have. You have to, hugely important, you have to work on yourself. So you have to be able to take what they're doing not so personally. You have to learn how to love yourself. You have to learn how to self-soothe. You have to remind yourself of who you are. Because this person, if you have a fragile ego or low self-esteem, everything that they're doing and saying, it's just going to keep digging away and depleting any amount of confidence or self-esteem that you have in yourself. So you have to learn how to work on yourself. And it's really hard to do all of that work on yourself while you're constantly interacting with this person. So you have to interact with them because you're co-parenting, but you can limit your contact with this person, your conversations. And so that would probably be my biggest takeaways from that question. Let's go to the next one. Why is it difficult for someone to realize they are with a narcissist? Is it because they are codependent, or does the narcissist hook them, in so well? So yes, yes, and yes. So basically, a lot of the reasons why it's tough for someone to realize they're with a narcissist is probably because, yes, of course, they're codependent. They're a love addict. They want to be in a relationship. They don't want to face who this person is. They still believe in that false character that they saw in the beginning of the relationship. They, when the narcissist, when you start dating a narcissist and everything is so amazing and they're showing you this false image, this character that they're playing in order to hook you in, and they can do it very, very well, especially if you are codependent and come from lack, then and they know that, then it's going to be tougher for you if you are codependent and coming from lack and don't have that self-esteem or confidence in yourself to know your self-worth. Then when you start seeing that mask slip, it's going to be really, really difficult for you to end that relationship because you don't want to believe who this person is. You're not accepting the reality of the situation. And I think that's most often people's biggest struggles in relationships with narcissists is they don't want to believe that this is a false character. They can't accept that this person isn't who they say they are, and they overlook red flags, left, right, and center. And again, all of that is lack. All of that has to do with how you view yourself, how you love yourself, your self-worth, everything. So that's why I always say everything starts with you. You have to work on yourself, because when you work on yourself, you don't put up with any of that. You don't overlook the red flags. You know how to stand up for yourself. You know how to enforce boundaries. And all of this is done in a very, very healthy way. So that's usually why it's tough for people to accept that they're in a narcissistically abusive relationship. The next question is, and I get this really often. And I think anyone that has been in an emotionally abusive, narcissistically abusive relationship will experience this once the relationship has ended, is how do I forgive myself after narcissistic abuse? And this is something, number one, you cannot judge yourself. That just 100% is the case. You can't judge who you were at that moment in time when you were in that relationship with that person. That person that was in that relationship is not who is here today watching this live, watching these videos, or anything. So you have to accept that. You can't judge yourself for who you were at that time. You know, it's like that quote by Maya Angelou, when you know better, you do better. And you didn't know better, but that doesn't mean that you judge yourself for not knowing better, because we're all learning, we're all growing, and every experience that we have in life is an opportunity to learn a lesson. And that's another big thing, is you have to accept that even though this was a tough experience, that you learned a lesson from it. So, you know, we don't obviously want to go through painful experiences in order to learn lessons, but, you know, tough times, you grow during those times. And there will come a point where, not that you might be able to thank the narcissist. Oh, okay, we're still going. Sorry about that. But I actually got to a point where I was so thankful. I keep getting a call in and I forgot to put my privacy on, so I apologize for that. But I was so thankful for my ex, for everything that I had to go through. And, you know, we go through painful experiences when we're dealing with these people. But that pain forced me, allowed me to grow. It allowed me to become a healthier, better version of myself. I mean, I've done things now. I mean, hell, I'm on a live, and that used to scare the crap out of me. So it has allowed me to push myself past being uncomfortable going on blind dates and, you know, going out and meeting new girlfriends, or creating a business, or doing a live. So because of those experiences, it allowed me to grow and to be a better version of myself, a healthier version of myself. So, and I love my life right now because I've done so much work to get to where I am, and I'm content and I'm happy, and I've learned lessons that are invaluable. Like I'm happy in life. And when you can get to that place because you've learned all those lessons that you needed to learn, then it's easy. You don't even need to forgive yourself, because you realize, if I hadn't gone through that, if I wasn't that person then, I wouldn't be who I am now. And thank you for all the abuse. Thank you for everything that you did to me. Because it allowed me to have the life that I have right now. But in order to have that kind of thinking, in order to actually start creating that life, you can't play the victim. So you can't blame the other person, and you can't blame yourself, and you can't judge yourself for what you or who you were at that moment in time. So that's really, really important. And remember that forgiveness is a practice. When we forgive someone else, that's a practice. When we forgive ourselves, that's also something that we have to do day in and day out. So just be gentle with yourself throughout that process, for sure. The next question is, how did you find your calling? I think I've kind of went over this, but I'll just tell you real briefly. I mean, basically it was, of course, my last relation, or my ex-husband, you know, going through that situation, that definitely kind of pushed me to this point. But I think I've gone through a lot of stuff in my life in general that I've learned a ton of lessons. I do think I'm an older soul. And I just always knew that I wanted to help people. I didn't know what it was going to look like. But now in hindsight, when I look back at every job I ever had that I really enjoyed, I was helping people. And even if it was in small ways. So if I was an administrative assistant, I was assisting other people. I was helping them with their job. If I was working in a restaurant waiting on tables, I'm helping other people. So pretty much every job in my divorce, and learning everything that I learned, because I wanted to know so badly, why did I attract this person? That question was something that just like stayed with me. Sorry, the sun's coming over here. It stayed with me forever. I wanted to know, like, why did I attract this person? And why did I have such lack that I thought this person was like it for me? So I'm just gonna actually close this. So that was really huge for me, was asking myself those questions. And how I got here was basically me saying, screw it, I'm gonna do this. I'm gonna help people. I'm gonna help people to learn how to overcome this stuff, because I would meet so many people, not necessarily just going through narcissistic abuse, but someone that had a spouse that cheated on them, or someone that had a spouse that just left them, or someone that went through a really, really tough breakup and heartbreak, and that they stayed stuck in that sadness or that bitter anger for a very long time, and they were never able, to fully move on. And I just thought, geez, what, one life, don't give that person the power over your life. And I wanted to teach people how to take responsibility for their life and how to create the life that they want. It's something that I'm so passionate about, because you are, limitless on what you're capable of doing, but you have to be able to believe in that. And you have to push yourself every day out of your comfort zone in order to get there. So that's kind of how I got to where I am. I finally one day said, I'm going to start my own business. I'm going to do this. And every decision I had ever made in life, I overthought again and again. I made my list of pros and cons, and I thought about it for years and years. And then I would say, okay, I guess I'll make the decision. Whereas this decision, I just said, screw it, I'm going to make it. And if I fail, it is what it is. But I love what I do so much. And it's something that comes natural to me to listen and be empathetic and help people. So I think when you do something that you're naturally good at, and also that you're passionate about, I mean, that's just great. Every day I come to work and it doesn't feel like work, but I also work as hardest now than I have ever in my entire life. So it's like a weird feeling, but I love what I do. So that's that. Great question. What's your biggest revelation about love? I love this question, because you should always be learning something from every relationship. I mean, doesn't matter what the relationship was, toxic, unhealthy, abusive, normal relationship, but maybe we just aren't in love with each other anymore and the relationship has to end. There should always be something that you learned about yourself in that experience. And there are a lot of takeaways that I have learned about love that have helped me to create healthy relationships now going forward. Number one is, not everyone loves like me. That was really, really important for me to learn, was because I just assumed everyone loves like me. If I gave 100%, you would just give 100%. I was naive like that. I didn't really realize that there were abusive people and that people could do the things that they do. I just thought everyone was like me, right? So I think that naive way of thinking, it hurt me a lot in life, because I projected what I thought people should do onto people, and when they didn't show me that they were that person, I didn't accept it, because I came from lack, because of probably I had low self-esteem and low self-worth. So that was the first thing that I learned about love. The second thing was, it's a two-person job. So it wasn't my responsibility to, how do you help someone to see? All right, give me 1 second. So it was a two-person job. So any relationship, friendship, coworker, family member that you keep in touch with, a romantic partner, effort has to be there on both sides. And if it's not, then you can't make a relationship work. And I have so many people that come to me. I had a client yesterday that said, do you think this relationship can work? And I said, well, I'm not your partner, but if you're doing all this work on yourself and your partner is not putting in that effort, the relationship's not going to work, because you're either going to do too much in the relationship and become resentful, or it's just going to fade, because the effort needs to be there on both parts. The last thing that I learned that's really huge is the respect has to be there. So think about every, good relationships that you have in your life, whether it's parents or sister or friend or whatever, there's a level of respect that's there between the two of you. They know who you are and love you for who you are and respect you for who you are. And that's really crucial in a romantic relationship. If the respect isn't there, everything else is going to fall apart. Because if I don't respect you, I'm not going to let my walls down. The communication isn't going to be as easy as it probably could be had the respect been there. So I think that those are like the three biggest things that I've learned about love, and learning those lessons has allowed me to have really healthy relationships now in my life, because when those things aren't present, that's a red flag for me, because it's something that I need. I need the respect, and I need to know that you're putting in the effort just like I am. So let me answer some of your questions. Can you talk about custody in court? So actually, you know what? Let me answer his question real quick. Sorry. How do you help someone see that they have great potential? So I'm not sure if you're referring to like just me coaching someone or just people in life in general. So if I'm coaching you, then I can be your cheerleader all day long. You know, there are coaches that you can hire that are motivational coaches, but they're not going to get to the root of why you're not being the cheerleader for yourself, why you're not seeing the potential in yourself. So in order for someone to really dig in there, get that wound up of why you don't think you have potential, you have to know where your wounds are. You have to know what are the things that you've gone throughout your life, childhood, the experiences that you've had that have caused the I'm not enough story to happen in your life, to happen in here, and why you keep replaying it. A lot of this stuff is just a matter of you learning, new habits. So a thought is just a habit. A negative thought is just something that you've repeated over and over and over again to the point where you believe it. So when you believe the negative stories, it forces you to not take action, to not, go after what you want, to hold you back. So until you start changing the stories that you tell yourself, and this is a practice, this is not something, okay, I'm going to start positive thinking and, believing in myself and listening to affirmations, which I think is huge. I listen to affirmations all the time. I listen to coaches all day, every day. So if I'm doing dishes, if I'm just working, I don't put a headset on and just listen to music. I listen to Les Brown. I listen to Tony Robbins. I listen to Oprah. I listen to Eric Thomas. I listen to all the people that I love to listen to that motivate me, that remind me of who I am because I'm forgetting. And I've learned where all of my wounds are. I learned, what are the things, why am I holding myself back from doing this? So I've had to really dig there. I've had to practice monitoring my thoughts. And that's something that you'll do for the rest of your life. But as you do it, it gets easier and easier, and you're able to fight off that ego, fight off that self-sabotage, to push yourself out of your comfort zone. In order to know your potential, you have to build confidence. In order to build confidence, you have to take action. In order to take action, you have to set a goal. So if I'm setting a goal, I can't get overwhelmed in this huge goal that I have. I want to lose 100 pounds, or, I want to have a successful business where I make $1 million a year. That is a very overwhelming goal. It's fine to have it, but then you have to break down, okay, well, what are the things every single day that I need to do that are going to get me to that goal? So it's the same thing. I want a great partner. I want a relationship. If you're not doing any work on yourself to be the person that you want, that is going to be able to attract a healthy partner and keep that relationship and have a great relationship, then you're never going to have it. So in order to build confidence, you have to take action, like I said. I think that's it for questions. Let me just check. Sorry, guys. This is like so new to me. I don't even have any idea how to answer some of your questions that you guys had populating while I was talking away. I have to say, now that I'm just on a live, I've always feared doing this, and maybe you can tell it's a little red down in there. This has been a biggest fear of mine, because I was like, you know what, it's different doing a video because I can edit myself, and if I want to take a sip of coffee I can, and I don't feel the pressure of continuing to talk. So this has been a fear of mine, and I said, I have to do it. I literally have to do it. So the minute I did it though, and I started kind of getting into the groove, then all the fear went away. So it's the same thing. Oh, thank you so much. You're doing a great job, Steph. Thank you. But it's the same thing with you guys. You have to push yourself out of your comfort zone. And P.S., doing a live is something that I've talked about for a year. And it's taken me a year, and that's okay. I don't judge myself for it. But I know that I have to do it at some point. So here we are. And it's the same thing with you guys. Getting yourself out of your comfort zone, even a little bit. If you don't like to go to the gym by yourself, just say, okay, I'm just gonna go for 10 minutes, put a headset on, and you have to push yourself in order to build that confidence in yourself. What do you do when a narcissist makes you out to be the narcissist? That's a great question, but to be frank, if a narcissist thinks that you're narcissistic, that's okay. That's okay. They can think that. You know, not everyone is going to like you. Not everyone is going to think that you're healthy because they're probably not healthy as well, but they can think that. I would want to know, why do you care? Why does it bother you? Does it bother you? That would be my question. Practicing what you preach, I've come to accept from the great Stephanie. Thank you. So if you guys don't have any more questions, I posted a video yesterday on exposing a narcissist, so definitely go check that out. And thank you guys so much for all of your love and support. You know, I watch a lot of channels, and when I read comments, some of them are just nasty. I mean, I definitely get some nasty ones here and there, but for the most part, I love this community. I'm in shock that it's grown as much as it has. I mean, I'm not in shock, but it's just crazy to me. And the messages you guys send me, they're so, so nice. And I love what I do. And I'm so thankful that I get to, you know, meet you guys here. I just got custody of an 8-year abusive ex. My kids are free. Yeah, I'm so glad that I get to meet you guys. I think I'm not even sure if there's an option to do this here. I think it's on Instagram. If you're not following me on Instagram, go do that, because I am going to start doing lives there, because I think you can do like a dual screen where I can like accept you guys into the screen and we can meet each other and we can ask each other, or you can ask me questions. So I'm going to start doing that as well. Thank you guys so much. So listen, I'm going to wrap this up. Thank you all. Have a great day. And if you have any questions for my next live, you can email me, follow me on Instagram, send me a DM. I don't know how to check the actual like emails through YouTube, so don't send them there. But that's it. Enjoy your day. Take care.